Hello, viewers. This is Sports Today, and welcome to a very new series of show. It will be involving a nutritionist, but before that, I have got one point. The whole nation, the nation, I mean, the Indian spirit has been lifted by a very pint-sized girl from a humble background of Manipur, as her snatch, clean and jerk, just brought India the first medal, in fact, a silver medal in Tokyo Olympic Games, the greatest show on earth. But remember, it's no easy task. A weight of 20 kg barbell with 2.2 meters in length, and it is loaded with 100 kilograms of weight. It's a daily grind, lifting and practicing. It's absolute, in literal words, a Herculean task. Now, to accomplish that and then get into the podium, it's a long journey. And to travel that journey, one has to have not only practice, but a structured nutritional plan, nutritional guideline. So to talk on what to eat, not to eat, and what the weightlifters, what is a routine for the weightlifters? I have got with me one lady called Susan Jacob. She is quite renowned in her own field, having worked with a lot of leading international sports persons. And remember, two of them are right out there in Tokyo. They're performing. Anjali Mudgil and Tejoshini Sawant, two of the air rifle shooters. They have been guided by Susan. So, Susan, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chinmoy. It's great to have you here.
Right, right. Now, Susan, see, the center of, discussion is Mirabai Chanu. What an amazing job she has done. Now, I have got my first question is that she hails from a very humble background. We know a small little village in Manipur and the kind of hardship she has gone through when she was growing up. So it all reflects, all fairness, she was deprived of the exact nutritional stuff that she should have got. Right. In here, I think the other countries, for example, the Chinese girl who won, or other nations, they have a head start. I feel because in India, until you get that draw that limelight, you catch that, we call it catch them young. Till that time, you're on your own. So how much difference it makes in terms of having the proper nutrition with our Indian team and abroad.
You're absolutely right what you said, the term that you said, catch them young. Okay. So while I was just going through Mirabai's history, the biodata, where they have rightly said that, from her childhood, her parents could, bring out, the parents understood where she is good at, what is her positives, and, where she could, what she could use to reach the greater heights. That's why she's there today with a silver medal out there, so definitely, as you said, yes, nutrition plays a very important role, but we cannot forget our normal dal chawal roti. The dal
Right.
chawal roti is what she's been eating since her childhood. Has she the body has got accustomed to it, and definitely, that has shown, how disciplined she could be. Yes, coming from a poor background, or from, a background that could not afford a lot of things, what the other athletes out there from different countries, or from India itself, many athletes can afford too. But she, being someone who's been, living on her normal dal chawal roti and have achieved that medal, is a clear cut picture that whatever you eat for your growth and for your sports. That's, you'll get what you require from that. And, so I think that's something that what we need to look at, because it's not about just a fancy diet. It's just about your normal dal chawal roti that you can have, as she
Right,
did.
right. Perfect. Now, Susan, getting deep into it, right? Whenever it comes to resistance training, when it comes to lifting weight, we all refer to protein. Protein are the building blocks
Right,
of muscle,
right,
right?
right.
And in fitness parlance, we all say that pepper yourself with protein diet. Now, I being from a, I being a strength and conditioning guy, I know it for well that it is here not bodybuilding. Bodybuilders have got mass. Where a Mirabai Chanu, 49 years, you can see is a diminutive, right? So weightlifting is something different where you need that explosive strength. Okay. So for the
Right.
viewers, who better than you can explain that if you are into a power sport, for example, cricket, For example, cricket, where the ball is been struck hard, we call it the power sport. Or for example, this is power lifting. How much different it
Right.
is in terms of ingestion of protein. Okay, what different attitude, I mean, from the bodybuilding and here.
Any sport you take, not just the weightlifting, but you take any sport, you need certain amount of proteins that is required for the intensity of sport that you're playing, for the intensity of workouts that you're doing, all
Right,
that's required. So we say minimum requirement is 1 gram per kilogram of the body weight.
right,
Now, a
right.
very important factor when it comes to weightlifters is that they need to compete at a set weight category, and it's
True.
very important, right? So if somebody
In
has
Chanu's
to,
case, yeah, in
yeah.
Chanu's case, it was 49 kg. You're correct.
Correct,
Category.
correct. So if she has to, she has to compete in that 49 kgs category. So the body weight has to be in that category. So even if we increase protein way too high, it'll definitely increase the muscle mass. And if you increase the muscle mass, your weight can also go above 49, right?
Right.
So what we as nutritionists, what we recommend is that yes, you need to go at least to your 1 gram to 1.2 grams per kilogram body weight to ensure you're meeting your protein requirement. At the same time, we see that your carbs do not go way too high, because if your carbs go way too high, you're again going to go above your weight. So that's something that we always struggle with the weightlifters, because there is an off season, there is an on season. So when it comes to preparing for the Tokyo Olympics or any national games or any competition, you say there is a lot of work that goes 3 months before. Like they might be, sometimes all these people could have gone to a weight of 52 kgs as well. If you take Mirabai, she could have gone to a weight of 52 kgs, and she could have tried hard to bring it down to 49, because she has to compete at that level. And even certain grams increase in the weight is
Right.
not advisable for them. They cannot get into their sport. So when we target the proteins, it has to be go along with their weight. It has to be 1 gram to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, but also looking at their intensity of workout, how much of strength training they are doing, how much of power training they are doing, and accordingly increase the protein and balance the carbohydrate and fats accordingly. Okay, so we cannot say that it's a standard 1 gram or standard
Okay,
1.2 gram.
Susan.
We cannot say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it, Susan. But there is a point of disagreement. So I go
Hmm.
by one nutritionist and strength coach, Joel Giacobbe, right? Quite Joel Giacobbe. They hail quite highly. He says that per 1 pound, that means
Hmm.
453 grams, he should be
Hmm.
taking 1 gram of protein, in
Hmm.
contrary to what is say 1 kg body weight. So
Right.
what is correct? Because he is saying for the weightlifters, you take 1 gram of protein for 453 roughly. So why is this difference? What you are saying and what he's saying?
See, any protein take or any intake of the micronutrients, when you look into, you have to go it based on the individual. Okay.
Right,
Now,
right, correct.
if the individual has to maintain at a 49 kilogram of body weight, because that is
Correct.
what is her requirement, then I need
Right.
to ensure that I give her the required 1 gram minimum, because you need that minimum amount of protein to build your muscles, right? Because
Absolutely.
you need that strength. You cannot have more of carbs, because you have to have the more of muscle mass, because that's going to give you the strength, to lift the
True.
weight. So
Right.
what we go by is minimum, yes, 1 gram. But if the body is not able to take even that 1 gram per kilogram body weight, if she is going, say, even more higher, then we kind of, we can bring it down to, so okay,
Correct.
1 gram per 400 grams. But that's actually, it is completely based on that individual. So we cannot say that 1 gram is right or 1.2
I,
grams per
I
kilogram
get it.
body weight is
There
right.
is,
Or so
I get it.
you have to
So
play with it.
right. So there is not one size fits for all formula, as you are
No,
saying.
absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Correct.
No one size fits for all. So we have to customize it, as per the
Customizing.
athlete. Yes.
Now, Susan, as you are saying, we are all peppering, bombarding our body with protein, protein. Whenever it comes to strength training, we look at protein. I name one, Kenrick Faris of USA. Kenrick Faris. You can get into the Google to check whether I'm saying correct or not. Competed for USA 2008 in Beijing, 2012 in London, 2016 in Rio Olympics. Do you know why I'm mentioning the name? He was a
He
vegan.
went vegan.
He was a
Yeah,
vegan. So
correct.
being into weightlifting and also being a vegan, it is possible. So what does it reflect? What does it mean from your perspective?
See, being you choose to become a vegan or you want to become a non-vegetarian, ultimately you have to get your protein source. Now being a vegan, also you can get your protein source from all the plant proteins, correct?
Right.
Now there are n number of plant proteins. If you name them, you have a brown rice protein, you have pea protein, okay, you have this. So there are different kinds of plant-based proteins as well. So it's not that he went or the athlete went devoid of proteins completely. The athlete got the protein from the required plant sources. Okay, we never know if the
but
athlete
but
chose, a
but
protein
one
supplement which is
interruption.
plant
Sorry,
based.
sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, Susan. One interruption. Now the vegetarian proteins are the grade two protein, where the animals going by my book. So
right.
what is the difference? Somebody is a vegan, not taking animal protein. How much difference is that in quality intake?
Quality intake, there's a huge difference because from 100 grams of chicken, the protein that we get from 100 grams of chicken and the protein we get from 100 grams of a dal is very, it's a huge difference. Okay,
Right.
so you really cannot compare. But what we try to do is, I'm sure when we are not able to get it completely from the food sources, we try to supplement it with a
Supplement.
plant based thing. Now here is where, there has been a lot of conflicts where I personally know you, where you are someone who says that, no supplements, no, you're kind of anti supplement person. But
Yes.
there are when it comes to certain people, when we can't get in from the food, we definitely have to go and seek for the supplements. Okay, that's only if the body requires. Okay, so if I have to meet the protein, I'll definitely have to give a protein supplement if I can't get it from the plant source or the food
Agreed.
sources.
Absolutely correct. Spot on. I agree to that. But having said that, as you said, this supplement and the banned substances has often, right, being a stigma to the sports, often tarnish the value of the sports. We have seen it. Okay, the International Olympic Committee has got their anti-doping stuff.
Correct.
Now, in this context, I'd say Mirabai Chanu has done an amazing job. Never ever really this kind of allegation has come against her. That's an amazing stuff from that girl. Here, I want to say that one more lady, Karna Maleshwari. So whenever something new comes up, we forget the past. In 2000 in Sydney Olympics, this is the first lady who brought us the bronze medal. Again, a weightlifter. So in
Yeah.
this sports of weightlifting, because I also know it, once your weight grows, I mean over, then you take diuretics, so reduces suddenly. Or for
Right.
example, the sudden burst where the clean and the snatch, we all watch it, it needs sudden burst of energy. So we
Yeah.
get it from creatine monohydrate, right? The ATP
Yeah.
CP stores. Now you enlighten us on this, where this thing stands. I mean, how far can an athlete go, and where the IOC comes and clamps on you? What are the things that one gets caught, and I mean through unethical means, and how much you can go within the law? Can you enlighten us?
Yes. So something that, as nutritionists, when we work with athletes, when and there's a need of recommending supplements, we ensure that we give supplements which are only WADA approved. WADA is nothing but World
Yeah,
Anti-Doping Agency,
right,
right?
correct.
Because all these athletes, be it at the national level or international level, they get tested for all this. So even if they find any small bit of that substance in them, in their blood, they or in the urine, they kind of, they get banned, right? Now,
What are
as you
those?
said
Susan,
rightly,
Susan,
like if you
can you
take
name
the
some of them?
certain ergogenic aids, you have even creatine monohydrate. To some extent you cannot take them. Okay,
Right.
because what happens is, when you, as you rightly said, that they try to bring down, they take a lot of diuretics, which comes under the banned substances. So that's why we could kind of, we don't recommend them. Okay, but what we do is we try to control it in the from a diet perspective, so what we do is their pre-competition meals, their during competition meals, their post-competition meals is well planned. Now we try to give them as simple as, a black tea or a green tea, that will act as a diuretic for them, and and help them lose the water, remove the
Right.
salt from their diet. Okay, so it's very important. That's the simplest thing that you could do. Even if you want to bring down your 2 kgs, we say, okay, 10 days before your tournament, go off salt completely, take off the
Right.
salt.
Right.
You have your pistas, have salt, unsalted pistas. Okay, take off the salt completely, have lot of nimbu pani, have lot of lemon tea. That's going to act as a diuretic. Don't go for your creatine monohydrate and all of that, because that's just going to not help you go into the Tokyo Olympics, but you're going to get banned from there. So it's always better to go naturally, because there are a lot of foods which act as natural diuretics, and you can obviously take them, because after all, something that you need to take, something that is sustainable and that is good for your health. Okay, so
Susan,
these are certain substances. Yes.
Susan, you hit the nail on the head. Here, you really advocated what I said. The Mother Earth has given us so many things. You said the coffee, the tea, they are the diuretics. So
Right.
you go and take it. Why you rely on these artificial substances? Superbly said.
Correct.
No, Susan. Uh, See, I being from a strength and conditioning fraternity, the first the snatch. The snatch is a very, very, I would suggest, very stressful movement for the spine. You suddenly put it up overhead, and the clean and jerk, and you understand
Yeah.
that 87 kgs she did the snatch overhead, so that compresses the spine as good as this clean and jerk, right? Clean and jerk,
Yeah.
115 she did. So together it was 202 kgs, whereas the Chinese girl who won was 210 kgs. Now in fitness forums, whenever you do an overhead lift, your vertebrae compresses, and when you lift it, it arches. The arch brings fracture. We call it the stress fracture in the back, which Mirabai Chanu had post Rio Olympics, and she fell into a spell of depression. She has openly said about it. Now, here I would suggest that see, this is a sport. We say that whenever you go for any weightlifting, there are two things. One is a risk, one is a benefit. Once you lift, the benefits are so much. Chanu came from a very poor background, the hill areas, climbed the hills, so bone mineral density obviously got up because anti-gravity she was riding. So there are a lot of things. If you lift the weight, your joints, bones, everything, the connective tissue gets stronger. And the risk, as I said, are this. Now, on this aspect, you do rehabilitation stuff, perfect. But then we hear a lot of supplements also that helps in this connective tissue. For example, ligament, for example, your tendons and all. Do you subscribe to this feeling that you should take it?
Yes, definitely. We do recommend, okay, so we recommend something called as the collagen supplements, okay, because they are the ones which are needed to maintain your ligaments, even your synovial fluid, for in that case, the joints and all, for that, so that you don't get injured, because collagen is something that we try to bump up in an athlete. Okay, because yes, knowing that they are competing, or their body is going against a particular weight that they can lift, and then there's gonna be an often wear and tear of the tissues, so we need to repair them. And and that's why collagen is definitely suggested, and collagen is something that we recommend because it is an approved supplement as well. So not
Okay.
all brands of collagen we give. There are certain approved supplements. Okay, so collagen is one of the approved supplements that we definitely suggest to athletes. It's not just weightlifters, but most of the athletes, because they are prone to injury. So to prevent them from getting injured, we try and bombard them with collagen supplements.
Okay, great, great. Now, whenever we talk of this Olympic champions, be it Michael Phelps, anyone you talk about, the legends, Usain Bolt, we all think they go through very regimented, absolutely disciplined diet plan. Now, Chanu already has said that I want it, I'll go back to my mom and have the ghar ka khana. So,
Khana
now
and pizza.
one of the Yeah, one of the legendary weightlifters said, I also have a cheat meal. I also go and take pizza and all. So I want to hear from you. This is a query among the viewers. Can all these top athletes go for a cheat meal? They can have the gorge on these burgers, the pizzas. Can they?
Absolutely, yes, because I am someone who I always tell all my athletes that, post your till you achieve your medal, till you're there at any competitions, be it at any level, you follow a very strict diet. Like, don't go for the junk meals, but you eat healthy, because at the end you need to be there competing, right? But after your event, you go and have a burger, a pizza, or even a brownie, because you need that carbs, you need that insulin spike. Okay, so they can definitely have it. It's not that they can't have it, because there's something called as the carb loading phase, that we try to look at in athletes before their competitions. Okay, so because when we prepare them for the tournaments, we make them follow certain diets. One phase is the carb loading phase, where we bombard them with carbs, because that's what from there they'll get their enough glucose, and their glycogen stores and everything is going to get replenished over there. Once the carb loading phase is done, and then they get into their competitions, the carbs are now, it kindly it depletes off, and
Right.
then after that we try to again load it back. So definitely they can go in for their pizzas, their burgers at the end of all their events, so that's something that is definitely, that's something that we can definitely give them, not a harm.
Okay. Now I'm going to wrap it up with one final question, Susan. See, the Indian, I mean, the Olympic Association, the SAI, they have given enormous support. Chanu has said, right? It's a
Yes.
change scenario. For the last 5 years, they're all trying to, I mean, help our athletes. Now, just the final thing, as I say, see, despite all these things, it's not always that we catch them young, right? So for the Aam Aadmi who are trying to really, for example, Deepika Kumari, today I was watching her father is still driving an auto, right? That Archer, our Archer. So till a point, even then, even now, some of the talents we can't really find out. What is your message to them that till they catch the eye and come under the government's growth scheme or the talent development program? What is your message to these parents? How to nurture them?
So one thing that I tell all my, like, be it my friends, be it my relatives, or people whom I know also, like, if you find a talent in your kids or in your relatives, be it any sport, someone who's good at athletics, someone might be good at cricket, someone who's good at football or any sport, okay, you try to encourage them, because they could become a champion one day. Somebody like Mia, Chanu, who can become a champion. There are now people who can't afford. There are a lot of these organizations, there are a lot of funding organizations. I personally know a lot of sponsors who kind of try to pick out these kids, from, and because if you kind of look at all the Olympic athletes, like most of them, 80%, they are either from Haryana, or they are from the Punjab, or even in some parts of West Bengal. Like, they cannot afford a lot of things, but they are being funded either by SAI or Go Sports or some other kind of foundation. Because there are these organizations that kind of, pick out these athletes, and then they kind of, help them to become a champion. So my message to everybody would be is that now you've seen women coming up. Okay, a girl child is not something that you need to be ashamed of, be it a girl or a boy. If you find them that, they have a particular potential, or a, a kind of what they're good at, something they're good at the sport, you kind of build them, encourage them, so that let them also come out and become great champions. Okay, because we need them. Like, I was just going through, like, India, why India doesn't come at the top level at the Olympics is because we do not have athletes playing at all games, which is coming in the in within the Olympic games. Okay, so we need to get to that stage where India comes at the top level. Okay, at the number world ranking number one. So we need a lot of athletes to come up. So the idea is go search for those talented people, bring them to those organizations where they are going to actually help them reach their goals. That's going to become their biggest dream, I believe.
Okay, so I take the word of Susan's mouth. She was talking about the girl child. PV Sindhu in 2016 brought the silver medal. Now this is Mirabai Chanu. So we can see how our Indian women are bringing glory to the nation. So encourage your girl child and see what wonder they can do for us as Mirabai Chanu
Absolutely.
has done it. So stay tuned to Sports Today. This is a very new series where I'll be bringing in a lot of the Olympic sport related topics centering on nutrition, sports nutrition, of course, and Susan Jacob will give a very incisive, in depth knowledge information on it. Stay tuned. Do subscribe to Sports Today.